Welcome, everybody, to the Rye Town Council meeting of September 17th, 2019. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Something to say?
Yeah.
Oh.
Please remain standing for a brief moment.
Yep, sorry. Heavenly Father, bless this assemblage, grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and the best interests of all its residents. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Surely. Councilperson Lindsay Jackson.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Tony Baxter.
Thomas is fine. Thomas is fine.
Thomas was fine.
Okay.
I'm here.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Present. May I have a motion to adopt the meeting minutes of August 20th, 2019? Motion and a second, please.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our first item tonight is a presentation of our summer internship program. Neiva Garces and Greg Arcaro, please. Hi, Neiva.
Good evening, Supervisor Zuckerman and council members of the board. I would like to welcome everyone to our 9th annual summer internship program. I had the great pleasure of working with the employers, interns, and my colleagues Greg Arcaro, Alejandro Payan, and Dave Thomas. It was definitely a gratifying experience to be part of this successful program. This year was slightly different than in previous years. The internship program was extended to 5 weeks instead of 4 weeks. And the employers had the opportunity to pre-select 5 to 7 interns to interview, and interns were be able to select 3 employers to interview. This afforded the employers to become more familiar with their intern and to determine their skills and strengths to be applied to various tasks to be performed. We had a total of 20 students enrolled for the program. Out of the 20, only 13 students were hired. Now I'm going to start the presentation showing you some highlights of the program. The town's 2019 summer internship program enabled 13 high school students to participate in a 1-week job readiness workshop followed by a 5-week internship. The 1-week job readiness workshop included classes on job search skills, resume writing skills, interviewing skills, and job performance. The workshop was held at the Salvation Army on Bush Avenue. The 5-week internship involved each intern working to a total of 60 hours with the following 10 employers: Burns Advisory Group, Foster Teen Employment Network, Sustainable Portchester, the Town of Rye Assessment Department, the Town of Rye Clerk and Tax Office, the Town of Rye Supervisor, the Village of Portchester, the Code Enforcement, Police Department, Senior Center, and Village Manager. Here's the list of our interns. All of our interns were residents of Portchester, and it also shows the employer they were matched with after the speed interview. Christian Ceja, Jaisha Gooden, Brian Hernandez, Giovanni Lopez, Esther Magna, Justin Maldonado, Peter Manus, Andrew Murphy, Brianna Noriega, Christopher Pasquale, Chelsea Reyes, and Sabrina Van Gogh.
She does it better than you, Greg.
This is the job readiness workshop. This is a demonstration of the 20 students who were part of the job readiness workshop. Each session, students were taught the 4 basic skills: job search skills, resume writing, interview skills, and on-the-job performance. This is the interviewing skills. This was the last day of our training before the interview session with the employer. They did a mock interview activity, which gave them a chance to talk and answer questions as if they were in an interview. Now, this is the day of the interview with the employers. As I mentioned before, this year the interview session was shorter. Each employer was given a list of 5 to 6 students to interview, and also students were given a list of 3 to 4 employers to interview. Each session lasted about 10 minutes. At the end of the interview, students and employers were matched based on their mutual interest. Okay, this is the interview evaluation for the job. Here we see how the intern rated the workshop sessions. Majority of them rated the interview skills and interview with employers at 100%, and overall the workshop was rated at 100%. Here we asked our interns what activities they found most helpful. Interview skills helped me most because before the activity I was in confidence. Resume writing and job finding activities were very helpful. It gives you the experience of what is usually asked and builds confidence with speaking with a potential employer. And answering interview questions with other people, I love the handouts they gave and thought of all of them were extremely informative. Next, we have the employer evaluation. We asked the employers how they rated the interview this year. 33% said it was excellent, 67 said it was very good, and 17% said it was good. Then we asked how would you rate your experience with the intern? 86% said it was excellent, 14% said it was very good.
Excuse me, Neiva, I noticed that on both charts, nobody is poor or fair. They're all very good or excellent.
Lastly, we have a list of attributes and ask the employer to rate their interns based on attendance, punctuality, ability to learn the work, dress, communication with supervisor, communication with coworkers, and attitude. Majority rated their intern at 100% for punctuality, ability to learn the work, and attitude. Next is the recommendations and interview session. Employers said this year was 10 times better. Yes, I was able to get an idea of the candidate's interest. This year was better, more direct contact with us, with just a small number of interns. Then we asked the 5-week internship. Extremely helpful, the intern helped the department to catch up on scanning and filing, longer period of time so student can develop long-term projects. And another one said, this young man was very polite. He did a very good job for us. The seniors enjoyed seeing him every day. He spoke to the seniors and showed interest. It was a great experience. Then we asked our employers if they would be inclined to participate next year. All of them said 100%. Final slide to wrap up the presentation is the summary cost of the summer internship program. Interns received a stipend of $11.10 an hour, which was paid equally by the employer and the town of Rye. The cost of the job readiness workshop includes 20 students who participated in the job readiness training, which was $10 a day, totaling of $760, plus the space which we rented at the Salvation Army, which was $600, totaling $1,360. The total cost for the summer internship program was $5,862.44. Thank you. Now, Supervisor, if you could join us, we would like to give certificates to the employers and interns.
This is the fun part of the job of being a supervisor.
Oh, Mr. Supervisor, we had an intern work in your department, so we have a certificate for you.
Thank you. This is not a surprise. And then, this one is signed by Tom Nardi, my deputy supervisor.
Next, we have our town assessor, Denise Knauer.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise.
Next, we have our Town of Rye clerk, Hope Vespia.
That's yours.
Next, we have our Town Attorney, Mr. Binder. Next, we have our Town Controller, Dave Burns.
One thing I'd like to mention is that the program runs mid-July to early August. If, the other employers in the town of Rye could, contact the town of Rye, because it's a great program. And if they can think about projects they can do for the summer or help backfill people on vacations, it really be great.
I think it's a program that should be expanded as much as possible.
I think there was more students than employers, so I think getting more employers would be terrific for the program.
We need to reach out.
Then we have our Chief of Police, Chief Conway.
That's right. I signed this one too. Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I think we got more out of it than kids did, actually.
You think so?
Yeah,
That's
this is
You wanna
a
make
great
a comment?
program. Oh, okay. It's a great program. We had 2 interns this year, but 2 returned on a volunteer basis. And Ryan Ucker and Andrew Murphy. And they helped us with a lot of things. We had our National Night Out, which would not have been possible without their hard work. And it was kind of fun having them around.
Good. It's always good to have fun. These are the interns.
This is for our interns, Sabrina Van Gogh.
Where did you work, Sabrina? Can you tell everybody?
Oh, I worked at the village manager's office in
Portchester.
Worcester.
Thank you.
Justin Maldonado.
And where did you work?
The police department.
At the police department. With the chief. Oh, you want, let me shake his hand. You want to pop him?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, Andrew Murphy.
Andrew, and where did you work?
I worked at code enforcement.
Code enforcement. And what did you do there?
Mostly filing and helping out with clients. Work's good. It's good boss. Everyone else.
You enjoyed your time?
Yeah, they're helpful.
Great. Thank you very much. And good luck.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Supervisor.
That's it. Thank you, everybody, both employers and interns. It was a great program, and we're looking forward to having it again next year, and hopefully expanding it.
Neiva did a great job as well.
Wait, let me see. This is Neiva's first year doing this program. She did a great job. Neiva does a great job. Neiva has so many jobs, I can't even keep track of them, but she does a great job in every one of them. And Greg, thank you again for your participation and guidance. We're on to resolutions. The first one might seem a little bit unusual. Resolution authorizing electronic delivery of proposed local laws. Actually, I asked Hope to put this on It's a copy of the resolution that Rybrook passed last month. I happened to be watching one of their meetings and I saw this, and apparently, even though virtually every community is distributing their packets electronically, it's required that we have a resolution to authorize it, and so we're going to authorize what we've been doing anyway. I remember the days when I was first elected a trustee in Rybrook. The police department would deliver packets to our front door before the meeting, and we've come a long way since
Still
then.
happens.
So, where does that?
Worcester.
Worcester still happens. Okay. Well, maybe they can pass a resolution like this too. Anyway, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter.
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next two are tax cert settlements. One is TMA Realty, and that's in Mamaroneck on East Post Road. Jeff, do you want to say anything about this? It was reduced in the year 2009, but no reduction for 10, 11, and 12. Nothing to say. All right, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter.
Yes.
And
Yes. The next settlement is for 12 Orchard Street in Portchester. This is a very small one. It's only a $300,000 AV. May I have a motion and a second?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter.
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next is a resolution authorizing the town to refund $9,453.96 to VFT Holdings. Jeff, do you want to briefly, what is this about?
We just think that in the fairness, there was a successor owner to this property that this is a glitch on the part of the town in not alerting the new owner as to the tax bill. And so the new owner was unaware. And then ultimately an in rem proceeding was brought. I brought it. They paid right away everything that was owed, except for these 2 years. They asked that we refund them the interest and penalties because they were never notified during those years.
So this is
thought it
a
was
settlement in the interest of justice and fairness. All right, may I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter.
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. And the next one is authorizing the town to purchase equipment for the Crawford Community Center. This is basically the restaurant equipment.
It's both the restaurant equipment and also the window shades for this.
Right. Right. Restaurant equipment and window shades. May-
You could basically categorize all of this in the interest of the catering facility and the ability for us to rent out the space.
Well, this is foreseen.
events.
This is all, basically all budgeted in the original proposal. May I have a motion in a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please, Hope.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter.
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next one is a resolution piggybacking with the Village of Rybrook for janitorial services for Crawford Mansion Community Center. Debbie, you want to briefly, what is this about?
Oh, sorry.
So in anticipation of Crawford Mansion Community Center reopening, we took a look at the level of utilization that our operating model is aiming for, and determined how much cleaning we were going to need. We actually got 4 different proposals, including a proposal from the firm that currently has the contract with the Village of Rybrook, which has a piggyback clause in their contract. So we are not only getting the best price, but we are able just to take advantage of the piggyback clause and move forward with that firm.
And we already know they do a good job with the Village of Rybrook, so we're not getting into something that's unknown.
Oh, that's certainly true. We've also checked their other references as well. They got superb recommendations.
Very good. Thank you. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next resolution, I'm going to ask that it be withdrawn from the agenda. Basically, the resolution establishes a policy for the town of Rye that is very similar to the policy established by the Rye Town Park Commission regarding religious organizations who wish to conduct actual services in the facility. This came about because we had a request to put up a tent for High Holy Day services at Crawford Park. And the first thought was, well, why not, make the 2 policies exactly the same in Rye Town Park and Crawford Park. The fact is that they're not the same. Crawford has a community center, and Rye Town Park's religious services are usually held in the pavilion. And I feel that if we're going to establish this policy, it needs a lot more thought than just putting it on the agenda this evening. So I'd like to withdraw that, and instead, Debbie, explain the organization, and I'll request that we have a waiver for this this event from our normal policy.
So there's an organization called CJEG, Community Jewish Education Group. It is a group of families, majority or certainly great many of them Rybrook families, that have committed to holding Sunday school at Crawford Mansion Community Center for the entire season. As soon as we have our certificate of occupancy, they will start. In fact, they started on September 8th, meeting outdoors. And they have, so they'll be in our facility every Sunday, and they have asked if they could hold High Holy Day services at Crawford. And we can't guarantee we'll have a certificate of occupancy for Rosh Hashanah, which is the final days of September, but we're fairly confident we'll have it by Yom Kippur, which is 8 days later. So the question is, would we waive all fees except for those expenses incurred by the town in order to host that event, which would basically be a park attendant, somebody to direct traffic.
Is the event open to the public, or how will we determine how many people will be attending? Do they
I think that's just in the same way that any group would rent the facility and have a contract, so would CJEG. So that's part of our contract. When they book the facility, they commit to how many people they're going to have.
Okay, and they're responsible for that in terms of if people heard about it and decided to come. I'm just thinking since...
Any group that's having an event will have a method for handling people who attend. That's certainly not the affair of the town.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? May I have a motion and a second to waive the fee except for expenses for this one time?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. Reports from Michael? I was wondering, oh, Greg is gonna, okay.
Could you,
Well, we're gonna go back to number one, is that what we're gonna do, a presentation?
if you could help with that? Been supporting it for a number of years.
I'm honored. I didn't see you here, and I was wondering.
I had to run late in another meeting.
Michael Goldstein? Foster Teen Employment Network Incorporated, one of, Michael, it's a pleasure. You've been a participant in this program for many years. I think since
From the beginning.
Since its inception. We're honored to have you as an employer. Thank you. And as a participant.
And just from our standpoint, it's an incredible program. Okay, the kids are, when they come in, they're super trained, thank you. They go through this intensive and so far, our young lady, she's ill today, so she can't be here, but Brianna is not actually getting hired by us, but she's offered a job. She needs community service time for her National Honor Society, so she's putting in her volunteer
Extra time.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
thank
That's
you.
terrific.
And I'd like to just
Double threat.
thank you again.
Sure.
Foster Teen Employment Network, what we do is we help foster kids that are aged out or aging out of the foster care system find employment. Because most of them become homeless within a year because they don't
It's
have
terrible.
employment. So that's our job. We take them away, we take good care of them for a little while, and then when they're 18 to 21, depending, okay, they age out and they leave, and their viewpoint is, oh, I'll get a job in some small store or something. That's not enough to live on, so in Westchester. So we look to everybody. I made you a challenge a long time ago, if you remember, okay, that the town needs to create a job for one of these foster care kids. So, the town is still on. Or just find me an employer in the town, how's that?
Well, I think, you know, you weren't here, and I think that we need to expand this program. I think it's a. I've known Michael for a while.
Yes, we have our kids in front of
And that,
us. Longer, I think.
as I said earlier, did it still hurt your camera? As I said earlier, we need to expand this program in its entirety. We need to get more employers involved, and certainly the town is open for, you know, employment of people.
And we've had employers in the town already, not flocking to us yet, but,
I think we need to have some more publicity. I think we need to get out there. And the town can be a participant in that.
put it in the town newsletter.
We put it on the website. Yeah? Okay,
Thank you again.
Thank
Sorry,
you very much.
sorry I was late.
That's okay. We're done. My screen went dark. It's okay, we're back.
Binder never goes dark.
And you can't forget Davy this time for the reports.
I said that purposely because I
Yes.
wanted to elicit a
Last
comment
month
from
we
you.
forgot Dave
What-
altogether.
What would a meeting,
Successful.
what would a town meeting be without a comment from Anthony Baxter?
The binder.
We have our reports. Does the assessor have a report? Indeed, she does.
Good evening, everybody. I have a couple of points. First, I'd like to, on behalf of my entire department, I'd like to thank Jaisha Gooden for being our summer intern for the second time. She does a great job. She's very accurate. Great program. Thank you, guys. I also want to thank Rosia for doing the interviewing because I had another commitment with the BAR that evening. Secondly, the Board of Assessment Review finished their deliberations the first week in September, and the Board of Assessment Review notices went out last Thursday. The final roll was published on Friday. I'd also like to thank the BAR for working very hard over the summer. They did a great job. And again, I'd like to thank Rosia for all her excellent, meticulous record keeping of the multitude of filings, including duplicate filings, the decisions, and the notices that all had to be mailed. So the final roll, which is essentially the same as the tentative roll, just includes the changes by the BAR. And that's available for review on the town's homepage. And if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. The Tyler reval is progressing nicely. The village of Mamaroneck, which was the last of the 3 villages, received their data mailers. We've gotten many responses. I don't have a tally yet, but there are a lot of people who are responding, and that's great, and we thank you very much. If anybody else missed the desired deadline for their village, don't worry, you can still return the data mailer. We encourage people to send them in, or you can go online to the OARS website. The link is found on the town's website, or you could just Google OARS, O-A-R-S, and Town of Rye, and it'll take you right there. There are instructions on the first page that tell you how to fill out the inventory change request. So if you review your property data and there's anything you find a discrepancy with, you can return it electronically. Tyler has begun the modeling process, and just as a reminder, their new values will be available in March of 2020. So keep watching for any correspondence from Tyler. If you get it, please open it and pay attention to it. It's very important. And I believe that's it. So unless anybody has any questions, that's my
Questions
report.
from the board? Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Denise.
you.
Jeff, I'd like you to interject on something. Now that the BAR has ruled, give a brief overview of what the practice is going forward in terms of contesting your value.
Denise has a postscript for the presentation.
A postscript. Okay.
I do apologize, but this is important. I saw it as I sat down. So there have been many changes to the STAR program. So if you look at your school tax bill and you don't find STAR there, you can call us, but we probably can't help you, because what has happened is New York State has determined different situations for STAR, and if it's been removed, they don't tell us why. So it could be removed that you earn over $500,000. It could be removed because you earn over $250,000 and you're supposed to register for the STAR check program that they will process every year. Or it could be for unpaid income taxes. And those are the reasons why your STAR would come off. So if it's come off, then you should call New York State, and that
Not you, right?
they can call us. We will take the call, we'll check whatever we can check, but chances are, if it's been removed, the only people who can answer and direct
Okay.
the person what to do is the state. So that phone number is 518-457-2036, because we are getting inquiries by people who no longer have the STAR on their school tax. So they need to contact New York State. New York State should have sent a letter to them earlier that said it was being removed and should have instructed them what to do. The good news is that nobody's missed a deadline. So the only thing is you won't have a check before the school tax bill has to be paid. And that could be for anybody. So far in Westchester, I don't think very many people have received their STAR check yet.
Denise, what happens with people who pay their taxes through the mortgage, don't actually see their tax bills?
They need to go on the SDG link on our website, which has a copy of their tax bill, and look at it and see if they receive STAR. That's the best way to find out. I mean, they can call us, the tax office.
It would be on the tax bill now.
It will be on the
currently.
tax bill now, and if they
Okay.
call us, we will have a record that shows whether they have the exemption or not, so we can answer that question. But they can actually see their bill right on that SDG website, going to tax link.
All right, very
Okay.
good.
All right,
Thank you.
sorry.
That's okay. Jeff, do you just want to summarize? People have been rejected by the BAR, or commercial properties.
Right, so there are two ways to now challenge your assessment if you're dissatisfied with the way the Board of Assessment Review assessed your property. There's judicial review now. So in order to pursue judicial review, you must first go through the BAR process. And if you want to challenge that ruling, there's two ways to do it. The first and probably the easiest way is through the Small Claims Assessment Review process, which is called SCAR. And that's a low-cost option to many, if not most, homeowners. And the second way is by bringing an actual lawsuit, commonly known as a tax certiorari proceeding in state Supreme Court. I recommend you get an attorney for that if you don't already have one. Perhaps you own
That's what the
commercial property and they'll do
That's what the commercial properties do.
It
They
could,
go
it could
through
also be
tax
done
cert.
for residential. I've seen a few of those come through. And so those are two options. The Small Claims Assessment Review is a particular branch of the New York State court system, and it's designed to give property owners that opportunity in a very cost-efficient way.
Thank you. Any questions from the council members? If not, I know that Nick is not here tonight. His report has been submitted. He's taking courses as an election inspector, correct?
Yes. Yes, but he asked me to read this little blurb.
Oh.
And I agree 100% with him.
Okay.
He regrets that he wasn't able to be here tonight. Our intern this summer, Giovanni Lopez, proved to be as exceptional as our prior interns. He is very dedicated, intelligent, and well-rounded, respectful young man. He is our firm belief that he will succeed in whatever he decides to pursue. And he was an amazing young man.
Very good.
Yep, we want him
you
to come
retain
back
him?
during. Yes, we're
Good.
trying.
Good. Then keep him.
Oh, and also to remind everyone that the school tax is due by September 30th. If you have not received a bill, please call the tax
On
office.
that positive note.
Right. We got the good stuff out.
You have any other report, Jeffrey? Okay, that's clear enough. Hope I know that you do, other than your submitted report. You have an announcement.
Mobile shredder is coming again for residents, and it's coming on October 6th from 10 to 1 at the parking lot at the 222 Grace Church Street building. And I have another report.
Okay.
The Westchester County Town Clerks met with two representatives from the Board of Elections. This year, for 2019, November 5th election, we will be having early voting. I'm going to ask Sarah to upload this on the website because it has quite a few dates. It starts on October 26th, and the last day will be November 3rd. Only glitch, well, I don't know if it's a glitch, but it may be out of the way for some people. It's in Harrison, at the Harrison Veterans Memorial Building at 210 Halsted Avenue in Harrison, like I mentioned.
Is that for,
Only for early voting, not for the actual election that we're hoping that it will be at the Crawford for some districts, but for all.
but all early voting is going to be in
Yes.
Harrison for the town of
Yes.
Rye?
Mhm. Nick
know
and I
why?
reached out to them, and we asked that if we could have the early voting at the Crawford Mansion, if available.
No, I'll get into that in a minute, but why,
This was a selection that was made by Westchester County.
by our election commissioners?
Yes.
I don't like that. I'll be
I know,
frank with you.
because we were going over the list, and most early voting is done in each municipality. Mhm. In a building.
Early voting starts when?
Let me see, October 26th, and Sunday, October 27th, 12
Do
to
you
5
think, is
p.m.
that as far as you know, that's a finalist? It can't be modified?
I didn't ask at the meeting if it
I'll
could be
call- no,
modified,
I'll
because
call the
I
Board of
felt that we
Elections
could
and find
pursue
out.
it on our own,
I'll
right?
call the Board of Elections and
Mhm.
find out. And Hope kind of hinted at something. As many of you may or may not know, both Ridge Street School and Blindbrook High School are under construction. They have in the past been polling places. Neither of them will be a polling place for the November election. And I have requested that either all or some of the election districts in Rybrook be assigned to Crawford Park as a polling place for this election. The Board of Elections has been out one time so far when the building was like 85% done, but I expect them to come out next week and make a final decision. There are 5 polling districts at issue at the 2 schools. During the primary, the primary election was held at the firehouse in Rybrook, which is a totally unsatisfactory location. Just the poll workers alone took up a lot of the space. So we're going to work with the Board of Election on both of those issues and see what can be done. Any questions about that? I think that's it.
Yes, Dave.
Oh, don't forget Davy.
Oh, wait. You know something, Dave? Oh, yeah, it says finance here. I skipped that. It says finance. Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't say Dave Burns, it said
We
finance.
weren't letting him off the
I
hook.
don't want to hear from finance unless there's a problem. Anyway, 2 quick things. One is our intern that worked in our office this year was Chelsea Reyes, since everybody's putting a shout out. And she was terrific and very mature, and she did a great job helping us organize during our down months. The other thing is that you have the tax receivables report in front of you. The last page, as Gary mentioned, is the new class of 2019. There's 21 new in-rent properties with $1,383,000 in outstanding taxes and $10,800,000 in assessed value. So that's the new class. The 2018 class, there's still 14 of those outstanding. They're going to summer school. So I guess Jeff is going to collect that money pretty soon.
Jeff, I understand, has already started the proceedings, and the date is October something, the redemption date? Early November.
I refer to him as TC, Tom Cruise, show me the money, and that's what we're looking for, so that's it.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve.
thank you, Dave.
Well, you're Tom Cruise, huh?
See, I told you we needed that report.
Our next meeting is on October 15th, and hopefully, with any luck, we will be meeting at the Crawford Mansion Community Center for the first time. Fingers crossed. The building is coming out beautifully, and hopefully the meeting room will be ready. So thank you all. May I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait. Comments from the council people.
Before
Almost forgot that.
before we adjourn, I just want to acknowledge all the hard work and dedication that Gary has put into Crawford Park, as well as Debbie and our deputy supervisor, Tommy. You guys have done a fantastic job. It's an incredible building, and it's going to be such an amazing asset to this community.
Thank you, Lindsay, but, and I agree, Tommy and Debbie have done a great job. Debbie's there every week. She's with the contractors, and Tommy has been indispensable in helping us determine what's needed. based on his tremendous experience in the trades and looking things over. And we have a great team. Sometimes you'll go out to bid and you basically have to take the low bid, and sometimes the contractors are not so great and you don't have much control. But in this case, every one of our contractors has done a great job, especially Lou Larissa as a general contractor, and our architect, Gary Gianfrancesco, has been on top of everything. And the design is beautiful, and he supervised it, and I can't wait for us to be in there. So, and thanks to everybody for that, and thank you especially to the council, because a lot of money had to be approved for this project. And nobody likes to spend money unless they really have to, but this building really needed it. The whole park needed it. And I really thank the council, the current council and the previous council. I guess it's almost the same council except for Billy Villanova. But all of you are so terrific and have been so involved and so on top of things. And when there have been questions, you've asked them, and it's just gone really, really well. I couldn't have hoped for better. So thank you all.
Well, why you mentioned the contractor and the architect, they are local companies, which I think adds to the,
Yeah.
How
I think almost
nice
all
and
of
how
them are-
well done it was
Almost
done.
all of them are local companies.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We really were lucky to have them.
Yep. Any other comments? Other than that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.